This is the 38th parallel, the most dangerous border in the world, where a big war is going to start very soon. This video has been released just a few days ago by the Korean Defense Ministry, in which it can be seen that North Korean President Kim Jong-un along with his military generals. He is looking at a model of South Korea's capital Seoul and at the same time discussing with his generals how they can completely destroy Seoul. North Korea's real focus is on this NLL line. There is a disputed maritime border between North Korea. This area has been under the control of South Korea for many years, but North Korea claims all this sea and these islands as its own, and this is the reason why in 2010 North Korea stopped the South Korean Sea passing through here. There were missile attacks on the Navy ship, and then a few months later, North Korea also opened fire on the South Korean soldiers and townspeople present on the island, in which about 50 people were killed. And then in January 2024 also, North Korea conducted a lot of military exercises near these islands. According to the latest news, Kim Jong has closed all the backdoor diplomacy channels with South Korea and has declared it his biggest enemy, and North Korea did not just stop at this but almost in 9 months, it has also tested 40 ballistic missiles, out of which 4 were ICBMs. These were the missiles which can target the American cities of Los Angeles and San Francisco at a distance of 10,000 kilometers. After all this, in the Yellow Sea and the whole of Eastern Asia, political tension has become very intense, and if North Korea attacks South Korea, it will not be a normal war because the world's first, second, and fourth economies will also become an automatic part of this war, and the global supply chain will be badly disrupted. Video: we will see through map animations what will happen if there is a war between North Korea and South Korea and who will win this war, but before that, let us see this war between North Korea and South Korea. Let us know the reason, and let's go towards this DMZ line. DMZ means demilitarized people, and this people is the border between North Korea and South Korea, where this whole issue has been going on for the last 70 years, in fact before the World War. The whole of Korea was under the control of Japan, but then after Japan's defeat in the World War, this island became independent. The winners of the World War, the Soviet Union and America, decided that they would divide this island into 2 parts, the northern part being Soviet Union would have it and the southern part would be under the control of America, and only then this line was drawn, which is called 38th parallel. Northern Korea, being under Soviet control, became a socialist state, and Southern Korea became a liberal country. In 1950, North Korea became a socialist state. Korea suddenly attacked South Korea and captured almost the entire island, but then the American and South Korean armies together fought back and pushed the North Korean forces back to the border of China. This war lasted for 3 years and about 5 lakhs of people were killed. Then in 1953 a peace agreement was signed in which this war was ended and the old borders were restored. According to this agreement, a buffer zone was created on this border where no soldier or military equipment of any country could enter, could not be imposed, but many things were also missed in this agreement like maritime borders. United Nations and America drew this NLL line without asking North Korea and gave this entire area under the control of South Korea, and since then the whole border is a big reason for tension between these 2 countries. Now the same family which attacked South Korea in 1950 still rules North Korea, but Kim probably has a tougher personality than his father and grandfather. There are very strict laws in North Korea. No Korean can leave the country without permission. During COVID, North Korea had passed a law that anyone who tries to cross the border with China without permission will be shot. For the last few years, North Korea has been building walls on the borders with China and Russia so that no crossing can take place, but a very interesting thing here is that all the trade of North Korea is with China. Perhaps North Korea would not be able to survive without China, and similarly, if we zoom in on the map, it is a zone area near the Russian border. In this area, on one side is Korea's Tamgang railway station and on the other side is Russia's Kasa station. And the American satellite took a picture here last October in which some very surprising things were seen, like in these images. It was seen that many trains are entering Russia from the Korean station, and there are many crates in these trains. According to experts, North Korea is supplying weapons to Russia. According to the Ukrainian military, so far in this war, they have found a lot of gunpowder which belonged to North Korea. South Korean intelligence also claims that North Korea has supplied weapons to Russia. With our help, we have sent our spy satellite into space. Now if we finally come to the possibility that this whole issue escalates and a full-scale war starts, then what will happen? If the war starts, it will have the biggest and first impact. The capital of South Korea is on Seoul, which is just 40 to 30 kilometers away from the border of North Korea. South Korea's 70 kilometers economy runs because of this single city. The world's top industrial giants like Samsung.in have their headquarters in Seoul only. And unfortunately, this city is in the range of all the missiles and cannons of North Korea. According to a report of 2020, if North Korea shells Seoul for just 1 minute, it will kill 15,000 people, and in 1 hour the casualties will be 1 lakh. According to the Korean Defense Ministry, in case of war, about 2 lakh North Korean soldiers will try to cross the border and reach the Han River because this river is the lifeline of Seoul. Now South Korea claims that if the soldiers reach here, they will inject chlorine gas and sarin in this river, due to which lakhs of people can die in a few hours. But on the other hand, it is not so easy for North Korea to reach Seoul. There are 73 U.S. bases, in which there are 28,000 American soldiers. Apart from this, American warships present here in Guam and Japan will also immediately reach South Korea's help in case of war. South Korea's biggest advantage is manpower. Due to high population, North Korea has 5 lakh active and 31 lakh reserve soldiers, which is much more than North Korea's army. And now if we talk about the win or lose scenario, then if North Korea loses this war, then China will suffer the biggest loss, because this would mean that its biggest enemy America has now reached its neighborhood, and China will never let this happen. That is why it will make every possible effort to ensure that North Korea does not lose this war. Similar efforts will be made by Russia too, because that too is North Korea. It shares border with South Korea, and North Korea's defeat would mean that now its eastern border has been compromised. Similarly, it is very important for Japan, Taiwan, and America to win this war of South Korea, because North Korea's victory would be China's victory, and if this is not acceptable in any way for these 3 countries, then all in all this war between North and South Korea will not be just a war between 2 countries but a regional war. And right now the biggest gray area in this entire scenario is the nuclear capability of North Korea. No one knows how many nuclear weapons North Korea actually has. In 2017, North Korea tested a nuclear bomb whose payload was 140 kilotons, meaning it was almost 9 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The intensity of this bomb was so much. It was more than 6.3 magnesia, and about 30 people were killed in this entire region. Now the question is, who wins this war? We are moving very fast towards a big disaster. People were in denial about Russia-Ukraine war, but even after a year, this war is not stopping. No one had expected what is happening in Gaza. Despite so many months, this war is not stopping. How many innocent children have become the target of these bombs? But still this fire is not being extinguished. Houthis are targeting Israeli containers in the Red Sea, and here China is very serious on the issue of Taiwan. And finally, if we talk about Russia, then Ukraine is completely opposite to all the Western propaganda and predictions. This war is going to be lost.